What's up, guys? It's Joel of Punishers Paintball. Today we have a special guest. We have Tyler with us and his brand new Shocker amp. We are doing a comparison video between the Dye DSR and the Shocker amp. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Head on over to punisherspb.com and we'll see you guys after the intro. Alrighty, guys, so we have the Dye DSR Q.
I got the new Shocker amp that was just released.
You got the amp. So, alright, so here's the deal. We're going to do the cases first. I have the Dye DSR case. Comes with this like little nice outer portion right here that is eventually going to get thrown away.
I got a sticker.
You got a sticker, right. I mean, I do like this, but the problem is that it ends up getting destroyed after you store it for a little bit. Case-wise, pretty similar. This is a little bit harder than your Shocker case, but both going to do the job and protect it. I think the Shocker case is a little bit more stylish. And
having that carbon fiber look to it.
Yeah. All right, so we have with the DSR Allen keys. You got Allen keys, but you got a better selection.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So there's your Shocker keys. This just has like a little, kind of honestly a little cheesy Allen key set, but needless to say, it's going to have every size that you need. I wish that they had done the multi-tool with the DSR because the Dye multi-tool is awesome. You do get a barrel cover with both the Shocker amp and the Dye. This is just a black cover. All right, what else do you get? Your little serial number card and everything else like that. Quick start guide, so you have your quick start guide. So pretty similar in that sense, like quick start guide here, quick start guide there.
And I think they all have the same information.
Yeah.
I'm going to raise a point here. It looks like the Dye one. Joel, if you wouldn't mind holding that up.
Sure.
Actually, here, hand it to me here. So this actually has a real nice O-ring sizing that I think you're supposed to be able to set the O-rings down on it. Does the Shocker one have that as well?
It does not have that.
It does not.
So I'll give the DSR some props on that. That's nice for the customer.
No, absolutely. I think that is definitely a winning point for the startup guide for this. And it also fits like really nice. It has its own like designated spot, whereas with the the amp doesn't really have that.
Lays on there.
It just kind of hangs out. So all right, a little bit of lube here on both of these. Both Dow 33, nothing special there. I'm gonna probably give it to the DSR just because it's a little bit easier to apply.
That's true.
And then parts kit. Q, what you got?
O-ring, screws, detents, pins, everything I need. One thing I do like about the DSR, and I think all dyes in general, is everything's color coded.
Yeah, so it's super simple to figure out which one's which.
I mean, I've got 20 white O-rings. All different sizes.
But I will say this, the quality of the O-rings, the polyurethane is nicer with those as compared to the colored O-rings on the Dye. So if you're really into like what you know, the quality of the O-rings is better with the Shocker. Nice battery, 9-volt battery here. This entire time I've been making fun of the Dye DSR because I thought it didn't come with a battery, and here it is. That smart thing that Dye actually did was they took it out so that it's not eating away battery the entire time that's sitting out of the gun before the gun gets sold, and then a little data cable here if you need to update any of your firmware,
Which this does not come with.
That does not come with. Good point.
So
Good point there. So overall, Q, what do you think? I mean, pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean they're similar. They have like the colored O-rings is nice, but again, quality. We're cutting hairs. I mean, it's.
I agree.
We'd have to nitpick.
Case similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna set this up using my phone in the background there. All right. So let's talk over the guns, Q. So first things first, we always start with the barrel. I'm already gonna say I win. What do you think?
You can say you win. I think the XL wins.
Okay.
They're both great barrels. I like the XL kit better.
Okay.
I think at that point it's personal preference, but I do own Dye barrels.
Okay.
So
what exactly do you have? You have a Freak XL.
I got the Freak XL with 687 insert and the All-American porting.
Yep. The DSR comes with a UL barrel system, 688 back, And the reason I say that I think that this wins is the sound signature on the UL barrel systems is by far the best. It's going to be the quieter of the two. It's a 2-piece barrel system, and you can buy different UL backs. UL backs come in 3 different sizes, I believe it is 692, 688, 684, and I think there actually is a 680 now that I mention it. But super nice there. Media guy Doug, what do you got?
I'm raising my hand in the back here because I am going to still give this to the Freak platform because you have just the whole insert kit that you can purchase. We'll have to do some math and see what the cost breakdown would be to buy the 4 other backs for the DSR versus that whole Freak kit. And with the Freak kit, I know as a personal user, you get more than just 4 options. You get something like 6 or 7. So you get a lot more versatility and
sizes. Yeah, so to purchase a different size insert, it's only costs you $15 with the shocker, whereas with this you have to purchase the entire bag, which is somewhere between $50 to $60 for the extra barrel. So I would say that, but as far as like this actual barrel that comes with the gun as compared to that, yes, but upgradable and everything else like that, yes, I'm going to agree with the Freak XL, definitely wins that. All right, feed neck.
Amp wins. Plain and simple. I got the thumb wheel. How do you adjust yours?
Okay, so with the Dye DSR, you're going to unclamp and you're going to turn this one way or another.
Scraping your ano the whole time.
Scraping your ano the entire time, yes. Unfortunately, that is so true. But I'll say this: it's a lower rise feed neck, and I like the aesthetics of the feed neck better. But yes, for that reason alone, I'm going to agree with you. And the fact that like if you will need to get this off, it's a lot simpler to unscrew one Allen key, whereas like this, you actually have to twist it off the marker. So that's definitely not a selling point either, but it is lower, which is one point where that sells. Okay, so next thing that we're going to talk about is the bolt system between the two.
Shocker amp, just a twist, pull out.
Boom. All right, so I'll say this. I like the button on the back of the DSR, but it can be a little tricky as far as how you pull it out. So you kind of have to line it up perfectly, whereas that it's going to be a lot simpler no matter which way you approach it. It's super simple to just pull it out, which is really nice. Arc bolt system has been shown to be very reliable. The amp is new to the market, so we'll see. But something that you mentioned earlier to me.
It looks very similar, if not the same as the Lux X.
Okay.
Tried true platform, just the actual layout, the parts, it seems very similar. There is differences, so I am interested to see how it is over time. Yeah,
absolutely. Arc bolt system operating pressure is 115 psi. Amp core system is right around 105 to 110 psi. So pretty much the same when it comes to these two bolt systems. As far as upgradability, the only other thing I'd like to mention is that the Dye DSR does have different upgrades that you can do with the bolt system. There are multiple aftermarket bolts as compared to the amp core being brand new. You're not going to upgrade. But with that said, how much are you going to actually have to upgrade? So, all right. So we talked about the bolt system a little bit. I will say this does pop in super simple, which is really nice. Okay, what's next? Let's talk about trigger frame and trigger and all that good stuff.
Yeah, shocker amp, very clean, straight over. Still got your little kick out for your fingers.
Which trigger do you like more?
I like this one a little more because it is more of a blade style, but you still have a little bit of that curve, which I like for getting that bounce going when I'm playing X-Ball.
Okay. I like the Dye DSR trigger a lot, so I'm gonna say it's a wash. I'm gonna say the shocker amp wins for different reasons, but I will say ergonomically, I like the feel of the DSR more. I like the UL frame, so as you guys can see there, it's an hourglass shape, whereas the shocker amp is pretty much just linear across the entire width of the trigger frame. But one thing that this wins on is one screw and toolless solenoid removal, so it's super simple to switch between mechanical. The DSR doesn't even offer mechanical option, so definitely something to consider when you're purchasing either one of these. If you want to play mechanical with your marker, the shocker amp is your only option. Besides the G-Tech 170R, but between these two, the shocker amp is your only option between mechanical. The board and everything else like that, one power button on both of these. I'm gonna give the board to the shocker because the programmability, and I like the color more. I like the fact that this is audible, but my biggest problem with the DSR is that there's like a little plastic screen over the OLED, and I've seen this crack and become an issue, whereas not so much with
it's pretty
shocker.
much just a screen.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, as you can hear, turning on and turning off. As far as changing batteries,
3 screws, pop my 9-volt out, pop new one in, good to go.
okay. As far as the DSR, there is a notch on the bottom. You have to turn it 180 degrees, pull this off. It takes a 9-volt battery. So I would say that this is easier to get to, right? Because of just that, simple twist, whereas that you're going to have 3 Allen screws.
Right.
So that is a major difference. All right, next thing, let's talk about the eyes system. One part where the shocker amp probably takes it. So Q, how has the eyes change from the XLS as compared to the amp?
So your eye covers are still the same, but when you drop the frame, it's completely wireless from the frame now. So they actually put a plug in here that connects your eyes to it. A board travels across, and then you have your gold-plated connectors that when your frame attaches, they hit the connector, and that's what actually tells your board that there's a ball or no ball.
Right. So something that's unique about the DSR is that it has an eye pipe. So Dye has been notorious for having the eye pipe since the DM8 or DM7, excuse me. And basically, I'll show you what that's all about. It's basically to protect, if you chop a paintball inside the breech, to protect the eyes from needing that. So as you can see, slide out my eye pipe, and there's the eye pipe. And then inside there, you can see that basically you can squeegee out and clean off your eyes. So theoretically, you shouldn't have to ever worry about taking your eyes out or anything else like that. That's in theory.
Best case scenario.
Scenario, right. But needless to say, even if it does get underneath the eye pipe, you should be able to take a squeegee and clean it out, and you shouldn't have to take that apart. Now, in the event that you have to take it apart, the DSR gets a lot more complicated. In that sense, I would say that the eyes of the amp win. But as far as general ease of maintenance and use for normal wear and tear, like unless you're chopping every single ball on your hopper, I think that the DSR probably win that war. So next on the list of things to talk about is the ASA.
Yes.
Q.
Mine's simple turn knob that they've had from the RSX to the XLS. Very simple, unscrew, degas, screw in, gas is up, you're ready to go.
Shocker amp wins it. I'm not even going to try and argue that. Like, this ASA stinks. There's a reason why Dye has gone away from it, because this little plastic lever right here is the reason why. I think ergonomically the ASA feels good in the hands. The problem is that this little plastic portion can be a real pain in the butt. And on top of that, in order to engage the air fully and keep it locked, as you can hear that click right there, to keep it fully engaged, you have to pop it all the way in. Otherwise, your air can come off in the middle of play, and it turns into a real problem. So I will say the ASA on that is definitely nice, and it's rounded off as compared to the older version Shocker XLS, which is really nice. Yeah. So ASA wins. All right, let's weigh these things. Let's figure out which one weighs more and which one weighs less. So, all right, we're zeroed. Go ahead with your amp. All right, so it should be right around 1 pound, 12 ounces, right around that range. Okay, Dye DSR. What are we at?
1 pound, 14.6.
1 pound, 14.6. So once again, this is a little bit heavier than the Shocker amp by about 2.5 ounces. Something to consider. This is going to be a little bit bigger and thicker in the hands. Ergonomically, which one do you like, you?
I like the Shocker, personally.
Okay.
I like the front grip. It's long enough for me to completely wrap around, so I have a little bit just in case.
Okay.
Or 2 grooves here for your fingers. Hands down, for me, it's the amp.
Okay. I'm going to say I like the DSR better, and for a few different reasons. One thing that I don't like is that the distance between the foregrip as compared to the trigger guard is less, but I think that the UL frame feels good. The grips are a little bit softer, and I like how this feels in the hands. This is a little bit thicker, but that's just too thin for me as compared to this, which is a little bit thicker. That, again, is a personal preference thing.
And for the folks at home, media guy Doug here, I work with Joel every week. I'm in the shop with him a lot. He has said for the entirety of the time I've been here, me and Keegan fight with him all the time on this. He does like the UL frame. He's not just saying that for the sake of argument with Q. He historically does love the UL frame on the die guns.
Yeah, no, I honestly feel I like this better ergonomically in the hands as far as how it feels. So,
which one other thing I would like to point out too, speaking of which, just like the XLS frame, you can actually take this grip off and then put the XLS frame front grip on it to fatten it up a little bit.
Exactly.
So you got, for me personally, I like how this feels. It's thinner, longer. I just like the feel of it. Whereas you could pop that other grip on and be a lot more comfortable for you.
100%. Yes, they're interchangeable. The XLS and the RSX grip kits are interchangeable with at least the foregrip. And I believe it's going to be interchangeable on the back portion as well. But needless to say, that's a really good point, Q. Like if I want to shoot a shocker amp, I could just put on the foregrip.
The back is not interchangeable.
The back is not
because one thing they did was sealless.
They added a sealing.
They added a seal
rim.
There you go.
So that way, rain, water.
More water resistant.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There's the weight, everything that we talk about as far as ergonomics and full comparison between all of the parts. We are going to head outside and do a shooting comparison. All right, guys. Here we have a Dye DSR as well as the shocker amp. We've got Tyler shooting the shocker amp, and then we have a Freeze Dye DSR. This is completely stock. We're both shooting GI 3-star paintballs. We both have 6845s, and we're going to do a little shot comparison.
What's the FPS we're working with here?
Sorry, both NXL 10.2. Go ahead. There you go. All right, so around that 280, 290 range. 280. All right, so around that 280, 290 range as well. Go ahead, Tyler.
Switch?
Yeah. Alrighty. Tyler, what do you think?
It still has more kick than that. I can definitely feel it more. And this rises.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell. Not as much recoil. I would say this probably sounds a little bit louder than the DSR. But as far as like how it feels in the hands, seems a little bit more snappy. That seems a little bit more like poofy.
Yeah. This is definitely quieter.
Yeah.
But I can definitely feel it rising compared to the
barrel rise. Okay, here we go. All right, Q. So I was impressed with how both markers shot. I personally, I liked the shot of the DSR a little bit more, I'll be honest. But overall, I thought both of them shot well. You had mentioned something about the recoil between the two.
Yeah. So again, I agree. They both shoot great. They both have their pros, and to me, both have their cons. The amp, the recoil doesn't have the barrel rise like the DSR or some other markers have. This one, the actual kick that you do feel is almost straight back, which when we were doing our shooting video, seems I could keep a lot more constant on my target.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that the DSR was quieter in shooting. The barrel rise was a little bit more. I would agree with you in that sense, but I think both of them were equally smooth, but I think the big difference for me was how much quieter the DSR was as compared to the amp. Now keep in mind, both these are brand new markers and they're going to have break-in periods. But overall, I think both of them shot great.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to be said bad about either one of them.
Right.
All right, guys, there you have it. That is the comparison between the Dye DSR and the Shocker Amp. Both of these guns are available at punisherspb.com, so head on over to the website to purchase yours today. If you would like to trade in and you have a used marker, head on over and fill out our marker trade-in form for either of these markers. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you guys next time.